Okay, Shalom Aleichem, Rabbi Yisai. We're in the week of Va'era, the second Sedra in Shemos, Va'era. Let us see what we can learn from the Parsha of Va'era, some deep insight into the mind of Pharaoh, Moshe, the Shliach, who doesn't want to go because he's such an Anab, and to demonstrate Hashem's power all over the world, that he will take out the underdog. He is Yud Kei Vav Kei, not only Elohim, the Midas Hadin, but also Yud Kei Vav Kei. Might is not right, and Kol the Olim Gavar. You work sometimes, but Hashem sometimes interferes with the history of nations. Here we see the first time in a mass scale how Hashem saves one nation from another. Let's take a look. Before we go into the Torah, into the depth of the Torah, because my sefer and my program is called Gigantic Little Secrets of the Torah. If you're not able to look at the depth, the secrets of the Torah, then it's just surface. It's very nice, but it's not the depth. The greatest pleasure is to see the Sodos HaTorah. What is it really referring to? There's a concept in learning Torah. The Torah has 4 levels. Pardes, Pshat, Remsh, Drush, Sod. Pardes means, that's Rosh Hashanah, acrostic, Pardes. Pshat, the simple meaning. Exact meaning, what it means. And Remez is a hint in there to something, some gematria, some word, some letter, hints to some other idea. Then comes Pshat, Remsh, Drush. What can you learn out of this? Maybe another idea similar. And then comes the real payoff. So deep secret built into the underlayers of the concept. There's a concept in people who learn Torah a little deeper. It says that Torah is on 4 levels: Pshat, Remsh, Drush, and Sod. And we have a pasuk in the Torah that hints to this. We have a law that a fruit tree in Eretz, even outside of Eretz Yisrael, if it's one of the 5 fruit trees, you cannot have any benefit from the fruit on the first 3 years. The 4th year, if you sell part of it and give it to the Kohen, then you can enjoy the rest of the fruits all by yourself. And the 5th year on, it's all yours. It's called Neta Ravai. That's stuff that is printed. Arla is the first 3 years. Arla cut off from you. And Neta Ravai means Neta, it's planting of the 4th year. You can have it if you ransom it from the Kohen, give a certain to the Kohen, then you can eat the rest of the fruits of the 4th year, and 5th year, it's all yours. There's a thing like this: Shalosh Shonim Yelachem, 3 years it should be for you. A Reilim, cut off, you have no use with it. V'shon Harvi, in the 4th year Kol Peiro, of all the Peiros of the tree, Kodesh Lashem, is holy to God. Until you ransom it, and on the 5th year it's all yours. So the deeper thinkers want to say, when you learn Torah on the first 3 levels, Pshat, Remsh, and Drush, not Sod, it's called Shalosh Shonim. 3 ways to learn it. Shana means to learn. If you learn 3 ways, you never get to the real, juicy, deep meaning of Torah. Shalosh Shonim, 3 years, 3 Shonim, Mishnah, you learn it. Shalosh, 3 Shonim, you learn it. Klem Arelim, you're still cut off. You don't know what the deep meaning means. The 4th year, the fruit is holy. There's a concept that that the trees that are shade trees, when Mashiach comes, will produce fruit. Ilone Sarak Samach Reish Kuf Shiatanu Peiros. So eventually, nature and spirituality and Gashmiism will be so developed that even shade trees will produce fruits. The word Sarak Samach Reish Kuf is 360. That's the same as Shas. If you learn Gemara with a deeper insight, you will have the Sodos HaTorah. Mishalomed Gemara, Shalo al pi sod, not with looking for the deep motivation, it's like 3 years you're cut off. Shalosh shonim yorechem areilim. You're Aurelius. You don't really know the very deep meaning of the concept. What Shona Haravi is, but if you learn with Sod, the 4th level, Pshat Rem's Rush Sod, then you'll be holy to Hashem. Every single thing in the Chumash and the Mishnah and the Gemara has a fundamental deep Sod. Now, I'll give you an example, right? Give you an example of a word taken in 4 different ways. Take the first word of the Torah, Bereshis, in the beginning. Very good. That's a Pshat. Number 2, Remez. What's the Remez in Bereshis? Well, when was the world created? In the word Bereshis is Ba'alef Tishrei. That's the same letters as Bereshis. That's the Remez. 3, Drasha. For instance, you say, Bereshis, beginning God created. That's Pshat, but the Drasha, the first thing you have to know is that God is the creator. That's a Drasha. And now we get to the Sod, the secret. Beis, Reish, Aleph, Shin, Yud, Tov, says the Vilna Gaon. It means, Barishono, Ro'o Elokim, in the beginning God saw, Shikabu Yisrael Torah, that God, the Jews would accept the Torah. That's the letters of Bereshis. Barishono, Ro'o Elokim, Shikabu Yisrael Torah. Therefore He made a world. Only because this small group of people will recognize Hashem and learn this Torah. That's the Sod. Also, Rashi says, if you really wanted to say at the beginning of time, you wouldn't use the word Bereshis, you would have used the word Berishono, at the beginning. Torah doesn't tell you what happened at the beginning. It says Bereshis, somewhere in the beginning. It said, Hashem said, Yehiyar, there should be light. But this Tohu Babohu, unformed mass, was around for millions of years. But Emes, Tzarech Lomer Berishono. Rashi says, because we don't know when the beginning started, therefore Sham Shval here doesn't say in the beginning. He says from the beginning. At the beginning, nobody knows when that was. Because if you buy a diamond for your kala, that crystal took billions of years to crystallize. It doesn't happen in 5,773 years. So it aged very quickly in the Shesi Bereshis. So the world is now 5773 plus. Shesi Bereshis, they could have been millions of years. There's many examples I'll give you. This is one only. All right? So let us learn now the Torah in a deeper form. All right? V'yedaber Elohim el Moshe v'yomer lavani Hashem ayim yudkei vavkei. Why does it say V'yedaber, which is Midas Hadin, and Elohim, Midas Hadin? He's so tough with Moshe. What's the problem? You can't look at this, read it over 45 minutes before Shabbos and then call that Shnayim Yikov Echad Targum. In this lies all the secrets of the Gemara, Medrashim, and Kabbalah and everything. What means Vayidaber Lehim? Why is it so, Hashem is so strict? You know why? It's a little bit of a reprimand against Moshe. Vayidaber Lehim, 2 expressions of Midas Hadin. Moshe said 2 things, end of last week's Sedra, that Hashem didn't like. He says, when Dosan Abiram met him coming out of Pharaoh's palace, and he said, since you guys have been here, they don't give us any more straw to put into the clay to make the bricks. You made it worse for us. You're not God's representatives, you're frauds. Because since you gave me God's name, it got worse. And Moshe complains to Hashem. Yosha, at the end of last week, said, Moshe el Hashem Ado, my master. Lomo, for what purpose? Have you made it worse for this people? For this nation? And Lomo, why did you send me? 2 complaints. You made it worse, and why did you send me? And then he said another complaints. Ma'oz Bosi al Para, from the time I came to Pharaoh, the Dabar B'Shmech, to speak in your name. Heira. It got worse for this nation. And number 2, Hatzel Hoila Hutzal, you didn't save them? Now you have to have a little deep insight. Moshe knows this. God told him it's going to take Makkah is going to take months. What do you mean? It's not going to happen one day. Moshe knows this. Moshe was so great that he didn't want the Bnei Yisrael to look bad as complainers. Therefore, he becomes one of them. He said, yes, I'm complaining too. I don't want to look like the good person, the tzaddik, and them like Rishoyim. I want to mishtatev with them. I want to take away the onus from them. God's coming to save you and you have complaint. I want to show you that I'm also one of the complainers. I don't want them to look so bad. That's the deep meaning of this. But Yadaber Elokim, God has two complaints against you, but he ends the pasuk Ani Hashem. I know why you did it. I know why you did it. Therefore I'm coming to you, Midas for Rachamim, mercy. I know you wanted to take the onus off of them, so you come with also complaints. Second pasuk. Well, Ariel Avram appeared to Avram Yitzchak and Yaakov became Shakai with the name Shin Daled Yud. Shmi Hashem, but my name Yud Kevav Kilonu Dati Lahem. I never appeared to them. Wait a minute. Hold it. Over 40 times in Bereshit, so Yud Kei Vav Kei is used with the Avos. And what means Shin Dal Yud? Shin that means the God of creation. Shin Dal Yud Shomer La'olam Dai. I said to the world, that's it, up to here. This is how it's to be. The sky is blue and the grass is green, not the other way around. And the blood is blue here and it comes out red, not the other way around. And the earth will be this big. This is big, the circumference of the earth and all the planets, and this is the speed, and it rotates and it revolves, and it spins, and it goes 1,000 miles an hour. This is the way it's going to be forever. Shalom, let them die. I said that the earth has to be 25,000, well, we call it 25,000 miles around, circumference, not bigger. Do you know that Shin Daled Yud is 314? Shakai. And pi is 3.14. Pi is a Greek number. The circumference of Earth is pi d, 3.14 times diameter. Exactly 3.1415, whatever. 3.14 as pi times the diameter is the circumference. Shakai and pi. This is the way I want the world to be, and it'll stay like that to the end. I appear to them as the God of creation. But Yud Kei Vav Kei, mercy and Rachamim, I never appeared to them. I told you I'm going to give you this land, Avraham, and then he gets ripped off by Ephron for 400 shekels. I told Yitzchak, this is your land, and he's been driven around by Abimelech, around the country, harassed. All his wells are filled up and stolen. Yaakov, I'm telling you, I'm giving you this land, your brother wants to kill you. Now I'm going to fulfill the promise. And they never... Hodati, it says he appeared to them, but no dati. Rashi said, they never got to know me, that I actually going to fulfill now my promise. They were tremendous believers. Hakabal abda ovdin, woe on those who gone away. Lo mistakhin, not forgotten. They never asked me like you, Moshe. What they're going to ask me, what's his name? And I'm not a leader, and get somebody else. And I can't do it, and I don't want to do it. And you held up the Gula for 7 days because you argued with me at this snap for 7 days. And Moshe, the office trusted me. So here we learn that nobody was greater in the Emunah than Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. However, that doesn't make Moshe inferior. Nobody in the world was greater Nabi than Moshe, not Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. They were bigger about Emunah, but no one was greater than Moshe ever, or could ever be, in Nevuah. But Ariel Avram appeared to Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov 6 times. It says Rashi, 3 times Avram, 2 to Yitzchak, 1 to Yaakov. 3, 2, and 1 is how much? 6. There you got it. Va'era, Vav is 6. Va'era, I appeared 6 times. Just a Baal-Turin. And they never got to know me, that I keep my promise. Gami Kamosi Brisi, I'm gonna, and I also will keep my bris, my covenant. He talked with them, Lo Seis Lahem, to give to them, Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. That's a remez, that there's going to be Tchias HaMeisim. He's going to give to them, Lahem, not Lachem. It says later, Lachem, you'll be their representatives, but I'm going to give to them, you're only their agents. And I'm going to give to them the land. And he did give it to us for 830 years. For 440 years in Eretz Yisrael before they built the first base of Mikdash. And then 410 years for the first base of Mikdash. How much is 440, 410, 830? Los Seis, that's Gematria, Los Seis. You can't include the second Beis HaMikdash because some never came back to the second Beis HaMikdash. They were there continuously for 830 years. 440 till there was a Beis HaMikdash, and then 410 for the first Beis HaMikdash. 440, 410 is 830. Los Seis, to give them a continuous stay there, 840 years, 440 and 4 times 830, and 40 years in the Midbar, 890, almost 900 years they were there. They had a Mishkan in the Midbar. And that Mishkan was during the Shoftim period, 360 years, as in Shiloh. So he did give them a Mishkan, a Beis HaMikdash, and together till the destruction of the first Beis HaMikdash was in almost 900 years, 890. Because the Mishkan is a little Beis HaMikdash. I've heard the groaning. B'nai Yisrael, Shemitzrayim Avidim Osom, that the Mitzrayim are enslaving them. The Esquez Brisi, and I will remember. And I did remember the Brits, the covenant I made with others. Therefore tell B'nai Yisrael, Ani Hashem, I am God, merciful, Midas HaRachman. I'm now coming to show some action. I'm going to take you out of here and destroy them, their country, their government, and their religion. Because when he makes the Nile turn to blood, they believed in the Nile, so he killed their God. That's what it means. So it says, yes, come, I will take you out. Mitachas Sivlos Mitzrayim, underneath the Sivlos, the abuse, labor of Mitzrayim. You know, soval is meant to tolerate abuse. Who tolerates abuse? Only a slave, right? Soval. Turn it around. Samach lamed bey, slave. Sovel, you tolerate abuse. Interesting. Mitzrayim, I will take you out from the beatings. That's on Rosh Hashanah. 6 months before they got out. But I'll save you from labor. Now, not only are you going to beat you, you won't have to do any work. I'll redeem you. That's the night of Exodus, the 14th, 15th of Nisan, say the night. That's when they went out of Mitzrayim. That's the Geula, you see it in Mitzrayim. That's the Mizrah and the tree with outstretched arm. Or with Shvatim Gedolim, a big punishment. Shvatim, Mishpat, judgment. But the Kach Yesam Lilam, in that 7 weeks after you see Mitzrayim, I'll take you to me, to a nation. That means I'll give you the Torah. Lo Kachti Lekach. Turn it around. Chelek. I'm giving you a Chelek Tov. That's the Torah. So Lila, for me to a nation. I'll be to you to a God. To you to God, I'll protect you. Until Mashiach comes. You'll know, I am God. God Hamotzi. Not that I will take you out. Or I have taken you out. Hamotzi, who is taking you out every minute, all the time, from every country. He's always taking you out. Hamotzi lechem in aretz. I'm bringing out the food from the ground for all animals to eat. All kind of foods, for birds, for insects, for tigers, for lions. He makes grass so the sheep can eat it, so the tiger can eat the sheep. Or he makes food for human beings. Hamotzi, always producing food. Hamotzi, who is taking you out from every situation until Mashiach comes. Hamotzi, Siblos, underneath the slavery of Mitzrayim. I'll bring you to the country. Hashem Nosasi is Yod, I picked up my hand. That means I swore. Let's say so, some Avram Yisrael Yaakov, to give it to Avram Yisrael and Yaakov. I'm giving it to you as their agents. Morosh, inheritance on the Hashem. Cain, he spoke like this, they didn't listen to Moshe. Because Ruach, they had short spirits. They were beaten too much. Remember, they didn't give him any straw to make the clay, they put in the clay to make the bricks. Now you got to do it and find your own straw to chop up and put into the clay. They were so exhausted. They didn't want from Moshe any speeches. They just want Geula. This was the end of 430 years. This moment when Moshe was the Mashiach came and took him out of Mitzrayim on the night of Seder night. So when he told Avram when he was 70, that was 30 years before Yitzchak was born. That's 30 years. And then from the time Yitzchak was born till Yosef went down to Mitzrayim was 190. And then they were Mitzrayim 210. Added up, it's 430. Mikotzer is exactly 430. The time has come. They don't want to get any more speeches. Because the Ruach Ma'avodah Kasha from the hard labor. Now let's look at this a little bit. We pick up the Kos Seder night 4 times from these 4 expressions. What's with the 5th one? The Hevesi. Well, in the time to make some Mikdash, after Mitzrayim, well, when they got to the Eretz Yisrael, after 40 years, they picked up the fifth code. Well, we've been in Eretz Yisrael. Yeah, but we were kicked out, so we don't pick it up yet. God did not bring us back to Eretz Yisrael. You got 5-6 million Jews living there. Hashem didn't bring you there. If Hashem brought you there would be no war. There would be no government run by Pashim. There will be no Rishoyim, Jews, and Gentiles in the Knesset who wants to kill you. The government doesn't have a Congress or a Knesset or a House of Representatives. It's one man, a Melech, a Mashiach. It's a monarchy based on a theocracy. Different kind of world order. A new world order. Everywhere in the world there'll be prosperity, no killing, no murder, no nothing. There'll be tremendous love and affection for Klal Yisrael. That we do not have now. That I swore, my kind of orders. Not what you got now, that's very nice, big chesed, but that's not what we're looking for after 2,000 years. To be another democratic nation, like all other democratic nations, that's it? That's what you suffer for 2,000 years? I don't think so. I'll take you out of the beatings. That was on Rosh Hashanah. I'll save you from any kind of work. I'll redeem you that Seder night. I'll take you to an that's 49 days after you see it. It's fine. Shavuos to get a Torah. And we're waiting for Hevesi. I'll bring you into Eretz Yisrael. And they couldn't listen to Moshe because they were very, very short. They tempered. They had no room. And the time has come. It's 430 years. They thought, okay, 430 years. There are other reasons why you have 4 expressions of Geula, because God will save you from the 4 Goluses. Golus Mitzrayim, Golus Babel, Golus Yavan, Golus Edom. We're in Edom right now. And we pick up the 4 Kossos. Now we'll pick up the 5th one. Even the period of Mashiach is very hard for us, like it is right now. Things get very bad until it gets very good. Morasha, it is your inheritance. No nation is going to get it. No nation can claim it's theirs. They're liars. Because it says in Tehillim, Kufhei, Yiten Lohem, I will give to them, Artzos Goyim, the land that belongs to Gentiles. I'll give it to you. Bavur, Yishma, Chukah, on the condition you keep his statutes. But Torah, so Yinsoda, you will practice his Torah. Yito Lehem Artzos Goyim, says in Tehillim Kuf Hey Mem Dalin, I'll give you the Goyim's country. This is a country, but I decide they should get out. And when Yeshua came, he says, everybody get out. So they didn't want to, so there was a war for 7 years. And they drove them all out. And no refugees, no prisoners. You get out, you run away, or you get killed. So the first Rashi in the Torah says, the Goyim at the end of days is going to complain. What right gave you to take my land, this country that we've been in for thousands of years? The Canaanim, the Plishtim called Palestinians, Plishtim. Who gave you permission? The first Rashi. Because the Torah is talking about God who created the universe and the planet, and what he did in the first day and the second day and the third day. Well, what is this? A book on geography or something? Why don't you just start out with the first mitzvah about Avram maybe? Why don't you give me the history of the world and how he made the world? Because Hashem is the real estate manager. He tells you this nation lives here, and this nation lives here, and this nation lives here, and for how long you live there. I decide where you're going to live. And when the Eden came in 2488, 40 years after 2448, they told him, get out. They said no. So they had a war and they killed all 31 kings and 7 nations. Because Hashem decides who lives where, when, how long. And now he told them, you have to go down. This is the land of the Bnei Yisrael. Now the Girgashi ran away as soon as the Eden came out of Mitzrayim. They were the 7th nation. So when you come to Eretz Yisrael, there were only 6. Because they did understand. They did understand that this land is going to be given to the Israel, and they're going to be punished if they don't get out. And the Girgashi were the finest of all the 7 Canaanite nations. Girgashi, Ger, they were Magaya. They kept the Shem Mitzvah. They know God is right, so they left the country, and they're never fighting the Girgashi because they left. Aboisai, we're finished with this little shir. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to listen to me more, go to every single day. You can go to Kol HaLashon. Kol HaLashon, I have 2,350 shurim. On the telephone, it's archived. The number is, anywhere in the United States, one telephone number, 1-718-395-2440. And when guy picks up, you hit 11101 to listen to the daily shiur. If you want to hear the day before, you go 21. And the day before that, hit 21. And you want to go back to the right, 23, 23, 23. And if you want to hear all the haftorahs of any parsha, hit 11104. Thank you very much. Be good.